Hey everybody, welcome back to the Good Shepherd, episode 29. The Denver Nuggets, to everyone's surprise, come back and shock the LA Clippers, being down 3-1 in this series, and overcome that deficit, and they now find themselves in the Western Conference Finals against LeBron James and the LA Lakers. The series before the Clippers series for the Denver Nuggets, they overcome another 3-1 deficit against the Utah Jazz. So what does that mean historically? They are one of 3 teams in North American professional sports to overcome multiple 3-1 deficits in the same postseason. So they must be on E. Their energy must be sapped, because having to do that and then face the LA Lakers is just a recipe for disaster, right? No. Do not be surprised. Do not be surprised. Again, I'm going to say that. You heard it here first. Do not be surprised if the Denver Nuggets beat the LA Lakers and LeBron James and Anthony Davis and company in the Western Conference Finals. Yes, I know. Here's what you're going to throw at me. The Lakers beat Dame in 5. They beat Harden in 5. Jamal Murray is not Damian Lillard, and he's not James Harden. So what makes you think the Nuggets can be up for the task of beating the Lakers 4 times and advancing? He doesn't have to be Damian Lillard, and he doesn't have to be James Harden. Damian Lillard was hurt in this Orlando bubble. He was clearly, visibly hurt in Game 3. Played half of Game 4 and was out for all of Game 5. And James Harden, we know, is all-time great in the regular season. But he has never, ever shown the ability in elimination games to exceed his own average playing ability. We've never seen him take the task of putting a team on his back in a must-win game and getting them over the hump. It's not a slight against him, but it's just a fact. 1-6 in elimination games in his last 7. Jamal Murray, 6-0 in his last 6 games in which his team was on the brink of elimination. Now, Murray is not the same guy we saw in the regular season. Jamal Murray averaged 18.5 points per game in the regular season. In 59 contests, 0 40-point games. In this postseason, in just 14 games, 4 40-point games. That's more than Jimmy Butler, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Kawhi Leonard, James Harden, Damian Lillard in the postseason combined. I'm going to repeat that. In 59 regular season games, Jamal Murray had 0 40-point games. In just 14 playoff games, he has had 4 40-point games. This is not the regular season Jamal Murray. This is the guy that right now is playing better basketball than any other player on the planet. I know that's asinine. I know that seems ludicrous. I know that seems inconceivable. But there is nobody hotter than Jamal Murray. And this isn't a Dame situation where he's dropping 50, 55 a game, because he is doing it where the stakes have been highest. Now, Dame is great, but he was doing it in the regular season bubble. Jamal Murray is doing it against a Clippers team that many people felt were the favorites to not just get past the Lakers, but win the NBA title. But it's not just the 40-point games. Jamal Murray, in those 4 40-point games, the worst he has shot from the field is 58%. The worst he shot from 3 is 56%. So he's not just being a gunner out there. He's not just being a high-volume shooter. He is being an incredible scorer and being the best player on the court. But if it's not Jamal Murray who was the best player on the court against the Clippers in those last 3 games, and by the way, just getting back to that for 1 second, Jamal Murray, 4 of those 40-point games, 3 of them came in must-win games. It's advance or go home. But the other best player on the court may very well be Nikola Jokic. Jokic is the best passing big man I've ever seen. He has the ability to give you 20 boards, 25 boards on any given night, and he also has the ability to put up 25, 30, 35, depending on whatever is needed of him on that particular night. This is a guy, like I've mentioned, that I've never seen a passing gene in a big man like I have seen from Jokic. And the most important thing, by the way, of the Denver Nuggets, they like each other. They genuinely root for each other. You see that in interviews. You see that coming out of the locker room. You see that on social media. You don't get the chippiness. You don't get the tension that you got from the Clippers. You don't see the Lakers, and there tends to be a little bit of division every now and then with the LeBron James team. You don't see that with the Denver Nuggets. They have continuity. They play together for a long time, especially that core. You got guys like Jeremy Grant. You got guys like Michael Porter Jr. You got guys, a veteran like Paul Millsap. You got Monte Morris. You got Gary Harris. This team is very balanced. Now, they are incredibly lucky to have two great stars right now, but they're also depth. Depth is a big component of this Denver Nuggets team. They like playing together. They have a superstar in Jamal Murray right now. There's not a hotter player right now in the NBA world, and they have the best passing big man, arguably the best big man in the NBA. So do not be surprised if the Denver Nuggets represent the Western Conference in the NBA Finals. You heard it here first. By the way, another announcement. I joined the Pros Club Podcast Network, and you can get exclusive content. There is a podcast. It's really entertaining. It's called Mike Delivers. It's about an Uber Eats driver, Mike Biseglia, and he chronicles his experience and what it's like being an Uber driver. It's phenomenal. It's free. It's gotten a lot of downloads, a lot of clicks. Mike Biseglia, longtime CBS Sports Radio producer and on-air personality. Also, Real Talk Basketball with 7-year NBA veteran Rex Walters. It's really, really worth the time. I'm privileged to be a part of it. So make sure you go to prosclub.com. You can also check out on social media, on the famous Twitter, as they say, the Pros Club. Ladies, gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for paying attention. I hope you did. And if you like the backdrop, if you like anything I said, if you like the Pros Club, by the way, which is free, make sure you check it out. It's well worth it. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you get comments below. The question I would have, in conclusion, what do you see playing out for this series? You got Lakers in 4, Lakers in 5, Lakers in 6, Lakers in 7, or do you have the Nuggets winning the series? Your comments right below. Whenever I point, I think I'm pointing to the comments. Let's hope for the best. Next episode, episode 30, I'm going to talk about Tom Brady and what I believe is a good sign despite the loss in week 1. You're not going to want to miss that. Folks, thanks for watching. Have a great weekend, and make sure